Years ago, in 1982, General Motors truck experts began an awesome task to design, engineer, research, test, and prove a replacement for the best-selling vehicle in the GM line, the Chevy full-size pickup. Since the program began, GM has committed thousands of people and $1.3 billion to the task. The goal? To build a pickup truck that will be the best in its class, that will dominate the pickup market of the late 1980s and into the 1990s, that will exceed customer expectations and outlast anything the competition has to offer. The challenge to those who directed the program was enormous, and the people who met that challenge are an impressively dedicated team. People like Mike Juris, chief engineer of the new full-size pickup, and Bob Tilley, manager of production engineering assembly, Ken Hammer, responsible for coordinating design and engineering efforts, and Don Wood, the program's chief designer. We asked them to provide us with some background, how and why this new truck came to be.
Well, first of all, we want to regain market leadership for Chevrolet in a most important segment of the market. And secondly, we want to provide a product for the late 1980s and 1990s that's going to meet the market demands. And there was a real challenge to the design and engineering and manufacturing people to achieve this. And start with the design.
It's true. There were quite a number of things that we wanted to improve and offer the customer. Along with that was improvements in the cab area, entry and exit, vision out of the cab, things like that. Again, too, we didn't want to sacrifice the function of the vehicle, the fact that it's got to do the work of a truck. It's got to be a pickup truck. It's got to do all the things that today's truck does and do it even better. Along with that, there were many engineering innovations that were factored into the vehicle. Mike Juris can address some of those.
The truck that we're replacing is really a 15-year-old product. And being a 15-year-old product, it was designed in 1969, so it represents 1969 technology. One of the things that we thought was very important in this program was to add new technology to the full-size product line. When most people think about technology, they think about computer screens. They think about instrument panels that light up and change colors. We weren't looking for that. We were looking for things like our electronic heater, vent, and air conditioning system, where you push a button and something happens to change the climate to benefit the customer. So we wanted to retain customer features while adding new technology. Bob, I think you can probably address some of the technological gains in the manufacturing area.
That's right, Mac. We in the manufacturing end of the business, we're not satisfied with the quality level of the existing CK truck. We had a 15-year-old product, we had a 15-year-old process, and we had 15-year-old tools. This new product allowed us to take a giant step forward. We have a new automated body shop with robots and vision. We made a significant investment in a new paint system for the new base coat, clear coat system. All this new technology we know will enhance the quality of our vehicle.
The investment in manufacturing facilities alone represents millions of dollars. When the stakes are that high, you want to be sure you're right.
The design, engineering, and manufacturing process alone won't be successful unless you establish some checkpoints along the way. Our market research groups established a couple of product clinics for us, as you remember. The first was back in February of 1983, and we took the product to Dallas, which is a major pickup market, and we clinicked it, and we had some very good feedback. Things that we found out was that the vehicle was had a soft look to it. It didn't have that tough truck macho look that the truckers are looking for. It was vulnerable. They felt that it had a high degree of damageability in terms of the way the tail lamps were wrapped around and the headlamps. And so we took that information back to the drawing board in Don's studio, and we made some changes. And then we went up a second time to Denver, another major market for pickups, and we clinicked the product again. And the changes that we made were very successful. Remember that, Don?
Yeah, it's true. If anything, the clinics taught us that we've really got two markets out there that we kind of go after. The fact that there are a lot of passenger car buyers that are now getting into trucks and using them as second automobiles. Some people even buy a truck as their mainline vehicle. But at the same time, we can't forget the commercial end of it, which is about, at that time, about half of our market. So we needed to get back and reevaluate the design, and we went through some changes in the slope of the hood, redesigned the fenders. You mentioned the headlamp area, getting a more substantial bumper that offered better protection there. The taillights, we had those right down to the top of the rear bumper, so they were very susceptible to damage, so we raised those up, and that's pretty much the way it stayed on the final vehicle. As a result of all that, we had to further get into qualifying the design in the wind tunnel to get a final drag figure so we know where our fuel averaging will go, and that got into your area, Mike, too, of further testing engineering-wise,
Oh, absolutely. You know, we had to have the appearance to get the fuel economy, but not only did we have to have the appearance, we had to have a truck that worked as a truck. And one of the things that we did early in the program was we actually went out and measured how customers use trucks out in the field. We did it with both two-wheel drive models and four-wheel drive models. In each case, we had 20 trucks monitored, measuring various loads that were input into the truck, then taking these loads and actually duplicating this loading pattern at our proving ground so that the new truck did everything that the old truck is doing currently. And in fact, we don't like to publicize it, but we actually test our trucks on an overloaded basis because we know customers overload trucks. All you have to do is drive down the highway and see a driver with a load of gravel and the back end dragging on the ground, or a big load of hay. You can appreciate the fact that those trucks have to work, and we test them so that they do work.
Design, test, redesign, retest, again and again, until the design is proven, in the clinics, in the laboratories, on the road. What makes this new Chevy full-size pickup stand out from the rest is attention to detail. From consumer clinics to vehicle testing to the thousands of hours that went into designing a single component. It's the attention to 1,000 details that makes the new Chevy full-size pickup stand out from the rest.
We strove very hard in the initial design of the vehicle to address the human accommodations requirements in this particular program. Things like the molded seat designs, which allowed us to set the man, the driver, right exactly where he's supposed to be at design, which is difficult to do in the way the vehicles are being built today. The fact that we have better forward vision in the vehicle, better entry and exit that you mentioned, more legroom, the total parameters of the cab of the vehicle has been improved. And I think that, you know, that led as a major requirement in this program.
We had an engineer assigned on a full-time basis to make sure that the engine compartment looked clean and neat. And, you know, quality in an engine compartment is not just looking neat, because if it looks good, chances are it's going to perform well. That's true. And the performance is what we were after. The serviceability, how somebody was able to change their spark plugs, how they could access the oil fill tube, how they could access the dipstick, things like that. And we did actually have your people over telling us how to lay out components so that when you open the hood, it looks good. Somebody thinks, hey, that's a well-engineered engine compartment.
It looks organized. Yeah.
And it represents the rest of the truck. You know, the truck is very well done, but it's well done in a subtle kind of a way. There's nothing in the truck that you can say, that is going to make it a dynamite truck that's going to blow everything else off the face of the earth. There are 1,000 little things that make that truck a better truck than what our competition has on the market today.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to a special edition of Target Trucks 88. From the light-duty truck capital of the world, here's your host, Jordan Rhodes.
Thank you. Thank you. Welcome to Target Trucks. Now, in this program, we're going to learn about the ergonomics of the 1988 full-size Chevy pickup. Now, one thing I want to say is this is the last time I'm going to use this word, ergonomics. Now, it's just a fancy word that refers to the interior features of the truck as they relate to comfort and convenience. Now, Chevy is breaking some new ground with their attention to interior design. Many of the features that you're going to see on this cab, they've never been seen on a full-size pickup before. The comfort and the durability of these new seats, it's amazing. And the interior of the cab, it's as quiet as some of the world's most prestigious luxury cars. We're going to see child restraint seat belts, new climate controls, new sound systems, and other options that were unheard of on full-size pickups of the past. Comparing the new truck to a traditional pickup would be like comparing a state-of-the-art cockpit to a pine bench on an old covered wagon. But how do we sell these outstanding features to truck drivers? Now, car buyers, they'd be more likely to make a purchase based on the luxury of the vehicle's interior. Truck drivers, on the other hand, they want to know about performance, whether we're talking about an engine or a bench seat. They want to know, is the truck tough enough to stand up to the hard work and the rugged conditions? Now, truck buyers, what they have to do is they have to experience the qualities in this truck to truly appreciate them. Comfort, convenience, style. Hard for a truck buyer to put that into words. So the best way to sell your truck buyer is to take them on a test drive. That's right. Now, once you and the customer are in the truck, you've got his full attention, and you can let him experience the benefit of all the features that we're going to be talking about. Now, we went out and we found some potential customers, just like the ones that come into your showrooms. And we took them out on test drives, and we recorded their candid comments and their reactions.
You spend a lot of time in your truck?
Yeah, as a matter of fact, I do quite a bit of driving around the weekends. About every other weekend, I got to drive somewhere around the state. I'm involved in a sort of competition where I have to carry gear and things in the back of the pickup, and we do normally have to drive either way up north or way down south or somewhere east or west of Phoenix for a good long ways.
How does this cab compare to your truck?
It's definitely roomier. It's, you know, feels more like a full-size pickup as compared to a mid-size pickup. Real comfortable. I definitely noticed getting into it. It's probably one of the easiest pickups I've gotten into yet. The way the door moves is further up there. Your feet just slide right in, and it's a pickup truck, but it has the comfort of a car.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, I want to introduce from General Motors Engineering, Mr. Ray Crawford. Hi, Ray.
Good to be here.
Welcome to Target Trucks. Now, Ray, that potential customer, he was talking about how different the 1988 full-size Chevy feels as compared to other trucks he's driven.
We were very glad to hear that because we've spent a lot of time and effort in designing comfort and roominess into this cab.
Okay. Now, Ray, is this one of your co-workers here?
Well, so to speak, it is. We call him Oscar, and he's one of the design aids that we use to help us lay out the interiors for the truck.
Oh, so in other words, Oscar would simulate customers, and then you would improve the seats accordingly.
Yes, we have several studies from medical teams and from universities that tell us what the angles and positions should be for comfort, and Oscar simulates the customer so that we can put him in there and lay out the interior.
Okay, well, would you show me how Oscar works?
Okay. When we start to design a vehicle, we lay out the general shape and size of the truck, and then we move to the interiors. And we use Oscar when we start with the interior to help us determine what the size and shape of the interior should be. We start off with what we call the hip point or the H point, and we design the cab around that. Oscar tells us that if we set the cab for a certain position, we'll have a comfortable seat back angle for a large person. We also are able to determine what length of cab we need for the leg room.
Okay, now what about the reach to the steering wheel and the pedals?
We've used Oscar and other design aids to position the steering wheel and the pedals so that they're comfortable for both the large driver and the small driver.
All right. Well, let's take a look now at one of our customers and see if he found the cab to be comfortable.
There's plenty of headroom there. So I'm almost 6'2", and I got at least a good 3 inches up there, so.
Yeah, you do.
Plenty of leg room. That's something that really annoys me with the smaller mid-sized pickups, is especially you take like a Nissan or a Toyota, there's not even enough leg room.
Can you feel the lumbar support behind your back there?
Yeah, I can feel it, and yet you can rest your back at the upper part of your back, just kind of lean back into the seat. It's real comfortable. I think it's probably one of the more comfortable seats I've sat in a while.
Well, obviously, Ray, that customer found the seats to be very comfortable. He was a pretty big guy. He's about 6'2".
Yes, he's about the size of your professional football player, and with the back angle and the leg room that we have, he'd be very comfortable. But also, the very small petite lady would be comfortable here also.
Okay. Now, we have a cutaway here that you're going to demonstrate and show us about seat construction. What can you tell me here?
On our competition, the seat's very soft. This gives a good showroom feel, but it doesn't give a good, comfortable ride for more than about an hour. We've designed this seat with contours in it to give comfort and with firmness to give good support for a long haul.
Okay.
We've added into there a lumbar support that gives you back support to prevent back fatigue over a long haul. And this lumbar support that we have simulates the back in the standing position, which is the most comfortable position for your back.
Okay, so let's see now. We've repositioned the seats, the steering wheel and the pedals, as well as adding space inside the cab. We've made the seat firmer and more comfortable.
That's right.
Now, it's a good-looking seat too, Ray. In fact, our next customer, she was most interested in the good looks.
How do you think the interior of the cab looks?
Modern.
Modern?
Yeah, a lot more modern than the normal truck. This is, it kind of classes up a truck, you know, and more people nowadays are driving trucks than ever. And they want it to look more like a car than a truck. Yeah, I like the seats a lot. This feels fabulous.
Okay, now you heard that, Ray. She said this was fabulous. Now, she was in a Silverado.
Silverado is our up-level trim, and this is a Silverado seat here. On that seat, we're able to accomplish a sculptured styling appearance by bonding the trim material directly onto the foam pad.
Okay. Now, the foam, that's bonded directly onto the frame, and that's in all the trucks, correct?
Yes, we do that in order to accomplish the kind of durability that we need to have for this truck. And bonding the foam directly to the frame increases the comfort and the durability, as well as bonding it directly onto here, increasing the durability.
All right. Now, this is seamless, and this seamless upholstery, this is something that Ford and Dodge, they don't have.
No, that's new for this truck for this year. It's the first application for it, and we developed it with one of our suppliers.
Okay. Now, Ray, what can you tell me about the child restraint seat belt?
We've added a feature to this seat belt which will restrain the child's seat. Normally, in a regular seat belt, the child's seat can move around some. The feature that we've added, when you pull the seat belt all the way out, it converts to an automatic locking retractor, which ratchets as it goes back in.
Oh, yeah, I hear that.
You can pull this seat belt down tight so that the child's seat can't move around.
Well, our personal use buyers and families are going to find that very useful.
Yes, they can even use it to restrain their larger children that wouldn't require a child's seat so that they can't move around the vehicle.
Well, that's a terrific feature. Now, I've been in these trucks, I've driven them. I know the interiors are very, very quiet. What did you do to control the noise levels?
We did a lot of development work at our Desert Proving Ground. Our development engineers measured all the interior noises, and wherever they found a noise coming in, we added sound insulation to eliminate that noise. Now, the best way to keep noise from coming into the vehicle is not to have the noise.
Right.
So we've paid a lot of attention to our exterior design to eliminate turbulence that would generate noise. We've streamlined the mirror. We've hidden the drip rail that's underneath the door here now.
Right.
We've added flush glass molding onto the glass.
Right.
And we've even recessed the door handle.
Okay, now, Ray, in your opinion, how does our truck stack up to the competition?
We measured several of the luxury vehicles so that we could establish ourselves a world-class gold. And this truck actually compares favorably with the European luxury cars on interior quietness.
Oh, that's terrific. Well, Ray, I want to thank you very much for coming on the show. We appreciate you bringing Oscar down here. We'll give him back to you.
We'll get him back to work.
Okay, let's have a nice hand for Mr. Ray Crawford. Now, we've seen features like the contoured seat with the built-in support, child restraint seat belts, and the lower noise levels. Now let's take a look at some of the options your customers can add to the truck to make it even more functional and more luxurious.
Those hard-working trucks from Chevrolet. Hard-working, great-looking.
On the outside, 10 new exterior colors to choose from and a variety of new wheels and wheel trim.
3 trim levels: Cheyenne, Scottsdale, and Silverado.
New premium Delco sound systems with remote controls placed near your fingertips to help you keep your eyes on the road.
Available with 4 speakers, they're known for their incredible sound reproduction.
Those hard-working trucks from Chevrolet. Hard-working, great-looking.
Look behind the seat There's a new scissor-type jack that's standard and a new jack storage area on upper trim levels.
Map pockets, reading lamps, 4 speaker grills, and more storage space underneath the seat.
More convenient seating arrangements with bucket seats and 60-40 split bench seats now available, both with easy entry feature for climbing into the extended cab. And in the back, a full-width bench seat is available that folds up or down.
Consoles with coffee cup holders, removable ice bucket, trash bin, and lots of storage.
Standard side window defoggers and optional rear defogger.
And air conditioning with electronic infinite blend controls.
Those hard-working trucks from Chevrolet. Hard-working, great-looking. Those hard-working trucks from Chevrolet. Hard-working, great-looking.
Many of your customers may not even be aware that these sophisticated options are available on a full-size pickup. That's why you need to have a complete understanding of everything that's available on the new truck, including power door locks, power windows, electronic speed control, and all of the other options. Consult your Chevy Truck Facts book and your 64-page Chevy full-size pickup book for details that will help you answer your customers' questions about these new features. Now, let's take a moment and go back and look more closely at the instrument panel and 2 important options in particular: air conditioning with electronic climate control and the new soft touch sound systems.
Now, the way this is set up here, your radio and your heater and your air conditioner, I'd like for you just to operate that a little bit. What do you like about that feature?
It's easy. I don't think you lose contact with the road. And I guess this is universal, like anybody in any language can use it.
Oh, sure. Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to introduce the man from General Motors Engineering who helped design part of that instrument panel. Help me welcome to Target Trucks, Mr. John Belts. Hi, John.
Hi, Jordan.
Welcome to Target Trucks.
Thank you.
Now, John, we're talking about our trucks here. Drivers have found the new climate controls to be very easy to use. Could you show me why?
Yes, Jordan. I feel the best way to introduce these new features is to let the customer work with them. This is our new climate control right here, and it features what we call soft touch rocker switches.
Right.
This is your temperature control. And if you hit the hot side, the air coming in the vehicle will increase.
Right.
If you hit the cold side, it will decrease. And if you hit either side and hold it for 2 seconds, it automatically goes to that max cold or hot position for you.
All the way up or all the way
yes.
down? Okay.
And this is our air distribution controls here. If you hit the top of this switch, the air will come out on the windshield. If you hit the top of this, at the bottom of the same switch, it will come out on the floor.
Right.
If you want to blend between the two, you just actuate this switch until you have enough air on the floor that you're comfortable. Press the button, and it will make you stop there and blend air both on the windshield and on the floor.
Okay, well, now, John, what's meant by infinite blend?
Well, the infinite blend is in our standard controls today on the older trucks. We had what we call a fixed AC, bi-level heater, and defroster modes.
Right.
With this control, you can actually blend the temperature of the air by setting your temperature control. You can blend the amount of air you want on you by setting your blower speed. You can also blend whatever air you want coming out of the various outlets by setting your controls for the air distribution system.
Okay, so hot and cold, and that's what we call infinite blend.
Yes.
Oh, great. Now, what can you tell me about the air conditioning unit itself?
Well, in traditional vehicles, or the older vehicles, we used to put a lot of our major components in the engine compartment, such as the evaporator coil, which cools your air.
Right.
In this new pickup, we've positioned the evaporator coil and the fan inside the vehicle so that the air is not affected by the extreme heat of the engine compartment prior to being cooled in by your evaporator.
Okay.
So therefore, it requires less energy and horsepower to cool down the interior of the vehicle.
Okay, so now we've added easy-to-use climate controls and a new high-efficiency air conditioner. All right, now I see the stereo. It looks like it's been restyled.
Yes, it's placed right above the climate control that I just explained, and it uses the same soft-touch rocker switches. So if you want to increase your volume, you just hit the plus side of the volume control, and the volume will increase.
Right.
If you hit the negative side, it will decrease. And you can do the same for your tuning, your bass, your treble, and you can even balance your speakers, all 4 speakers.
That's great. Now, what about the speedometer this year?
The speedometer is the electric type for more accuracy. And this vehicle also has our optional gauge package, which includes a trip odometer, a voltmeter, an engine temperature gauge, and an oil pressure gauge.
Okay. Now, John, listen, in your opinion, what's the best way for a salesperson to show these features to a customer?
Oh, I feel the salesperson has to put the customer in the driver's seat, let him turn on the key, and use these controls because they're brand new and he's unfamiliar to them. But I know the minute he starts working with them, he'll find they're very user-friendly, versatile, and very functional.
I like that user-friendly a lot. John, thank you very much for coming down and giving us this demonstration. Let's have a nice hand for Mr. John Belts. Now, many of the features that we've just seen are optional. They're all options. But there's a long list of standard features that you need to familiarize yourself with for your customers that just want a base truck. Now, again, consult your Chevy Truck Facts book and your 64-page Chevy full-size pickup book for details. Now, let's take a moment and go back and take a look at our prospective buyers and see what they discovered on their test drives. The support of that seat because of the new materials and the way it's angled. Feeling less cramped because of the positioning of the steering wheel, the pedals, and the extra space inside the cab. And of course, the quieter ride. The convenience of the instrument panel and the climate controls, and all of the other options and features that they may not have expected to find on a full-size pickup. Now, these buyers, these are the sort of customers that are going to come into your showroom with their questions and concerns about the operation or the application of their truck. Remind them that long hauls, off-road conditions, and bad weather can wear on a driver. That's why we've put on these comfort features. Remember, cabs aren't just a bench and a wheel anymore. So once you've told your customer about these new features, let him see for himself. Driving is believing. Thank you very much.
Listen to the heartbeat of America. Listen to the heartbeat of America.
Listen to the heartbeat of America. Listen to the heartbeat of America. Oh, yeah.
It's the rhythm of the road. It's the power on the street. Rough, tough, working stuff. Feel the heartbeat of America. Chevrolet. That's today's Chevy truck.
Ooh, the heartbeat of America. Chevrolet.
That's today's Chevy truck.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to a special edition of Target Trucks 88. From the light-duty truck capital of the world, here's your host, Jordan Rhodes.
Thank you. Welcome to Target Trucks. Now, did you know it had been over 15 years since Chevy introduced a new full-size pickup? Now, in that time, millions of people have chosen to drive this truck for its toughness, performance, and styling. In fact, a lot of them, well, they just wouldn't have driven anything else. That is, until now. Here it is, the newest and most important truck in the Chevy lineup, the 1988 full-size Chevy pickup. I want you to take a good look at it. Years of research and investment have gone into making our biggest seller even better. And not in one big way, but in 1,000 details. Now, we know that pickup truck buyers are not wild about change, but they'll appreciate the improvements that make this truck tougher and more economical to operate than ever before. All you've got to do is tell the customers about those improvements. Now, we're going to show you this new truck feature by feature. You're going to hear from some of the pros who've designed and built it. You're going to hear about our competition, and you're going to see the full family of C and K Series pickups. By the end of this Target Trucks program, you're going to have the answers to many of the important questions your customers are going to ask you. But first, I want to hear from you. Now, you've just been presented with a 1988 full-size Chevy pickup. I want you to take a good look at it. Go ahead, take a look at it. Now I want you to try and look at it through your customer's eyes. What do you think they'd be thinking? What would be their first impressions? Anyone? Yes, sir.
Well, it looks smaller than the old truck. It's more of a mid-size than a full-size.
Okay, it looks smaller. All right. Yes, ma'am.
It's more rounded, aerodynamic.
Okay, more rounded. Yes, sir.
Is it as tough as the old truck?
We'll have more for you on that in just a minute. Yes.
What about the corrosion protection?
Got a good story for you on corrosion protection. Yes, ma'am.
How about model availability?
There's even a new extended cab model. Yes, sir.
If it's new, how do I know they have all the bugs worked out of it?
Okay, we'll cover that for you too. Anybody else? Okay, that's very good. It's enough to start with. And now, how about some answers? The rounder styling. Now, you know, that's one of the first things that people notice about this truck. The square edges here, they've all been rounded. Even the mirror, that's been rounded. The glass fits flush with the molding. The drip rails have been concealed. Now, this design, what it does is it cuts down on wind resistance. The wind is able to move more easily over the truck without making so much noise. But more important to your customers is that this design saves them money at the fuel pump. The gas that they buy is used to move their loads down the highway. It's not wasted pushing that traditional boxy shape of a pickup against the wind. Now, somebody said that it looked smaller, like it had been maybe downsized. Okay, well, the exterior, it is a little smaller. But inside, we've got more shoulder room and just as much headroom as in the old truck, with seating for up to 3 adults in the seat. Now, here the door has been made wider. This makes it easier to get in and out of the truck. And up here, under the hood, full-size engine power. Same engines that were available in the 1987 trucks. And back here at the rear, you can still carry a full-size payload. That's right. More than 5,300 pounds in your 1-ton models. Now, if you have a piece of 4x8 paneling, it'll lie flat on the floor between the wheel housings. Now, these are things that this truck could never do if it were a midsize like Dakota. So you tell your customers that the new truck, it's just as big as the old truck where it counts, and it's been restyled to save them money at the fuel pump. Now, somebody said it didn't look as tough.
That was me.
Okay, all right. Well, you tell your customers it's not as tough. It's tougher. It's the toughest truck in the industry. And to tell us about that toughness, we've invited the chief engineer of the 1988 C&Ks down here on Target Trucks. Help me give a nice welcome to Mr. Mike Juris. Hi, Mike. Welcome to Target Trucks.
Thank you.
Now, Mike, we're talking about toughness in the new Chevy truck. So how do you build a tough Chevy truck?
Well, the truck has so many features designed into it to give the customer toughness that it's really hard to talk about. But let's start at the front end. Let's give it a try.
That's a good place.
Okay.
All right.
The front end sheet metal is built tough. It's got a fender inner, it's got a fender outer. It's got what we call dual wall construction. The hood has got the same kind of construction. There's a hood inner panel and a hood outer panel.
Okay.
The cab is built tough. It's got a dual roof construction. There's a roof inner panel and a roof outer panel. The side frame is a single piece side frame as opposed to the multiple piece construction that the competitors have. There's a reinforced lock support, and there's also a reinforced rocker section. The door is attached to the hinge pillar with a welded-on hinge. The welded-on hinge, as opposed to the bolt-on hinge, prevents the door from loosening up over the life of the truck, which causes it to become misadjusted, and also moves the hinge away from the pillar, which allows moisture, which can cause corrosion. Now, if you look at cab toughness, you mentioned the windshield. The windshield and the backlight are both bonded in. If you couple that construction with the side frame construction, we have a truck that we've tested with a simulated rollover test and found that it's twice as tough as the competition, and it's twice as tough as the current Chevrolet CK truck.
Well, that's tough. Okay.
The pickup box is also tough. The side panels feature the same dual wall construction. There's a side panel inner and a side panel outer. The side panel inner prevents shifting loads from denting the side panel outer, so the truck will look good over a duty cycle that can get pretty severe. The platform and the front end panel are both welded to the side panels as opposed to the bolted-in construction that we have on today's truck.
Okay, so now for the customer, this design means it'd be less separation of parts, fewer alignment problems, and fewer places where, say, moisture could get in and cause rust.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Now let's see. What about the chassis? I think we can raise the cab up here,
All
Mike.
right,
If you
let's
give me a
talk
hand.
about it.
All righty. There we go. Okay. Thank you, Mike. If you'd raise the bed up there. All right. Terrific. I guess I could have helped you.
Got her?
Okay.
When we talk about the chassis, we really need to talk about a family of chassis. The chassis that we have here is a four-wheel drive version, and it's good up to 7,200 pounds GVW. We also have a four-wheel drive version that's good up to 10,000 pounds GVW. It's a different chassis at 10,000 pounds. There's a deeper frame section, and there's also thicker gauges to support the additional load. We also have comparable 7,200 pound and 10,000 pound GVW two-wheel drive frames. Now the front end of the frame, which really is the heart of the frame that has to support all the suspension loads, the steering loads, and the engine loads, features a new kind of construction for a full-size pickup truck.
See what we have here.
This section is a C-section, as you can see, which represents a traditional kind of construction. It's also the same kind of construction that Dodge and Ford have in their pickup trucks.
Okay.
This is the new CK front frame section.
That's quite a bit different, isn't it?
It's got basically two sections that are welded together to improve the torsional rigidity, to improve the overall strength of the front end of the frame. Okay?
Okay.
Now one last frame feature that I'd like to talk about is that in a traditional frame construction, we'll generally stamp out the panels, we'll pierce the mounting holes for the front suspension and the cab and box mounts, then we'll weld the assemblies together, or we'll weld the components together to produce assembly. As we weld the components together, the metal has a tendency to warp. That tends to misalign all of the suspension attaching points that we had in the sub-assemblies. What we do is we'll construct a side member assembly from front to rear. After it's all welded together and everything is in position, we then pierce the front suspension mounting position bolts. We also pierce the cab and the box mounting bolt holes so that we have a high quality, precisely fit construction to give the customer a better quality truck.
Okay, now, Mike, what about the fuel tank?
Okay. The fuel tank is located inside the frame rail as opposed to the current system, which has the fuel tank located outside of the rail. The base system is a single tank 25-gallon system. Today's truck has a higher volume system. To get to the higher volume system, what they do, or what we do, we'll mount a second tank on the right side of the truck, which will add the volume to the vehicle. Now, the problem with having a second tank is obviously with two tanks, you have to have two fuel fill systems. With two fuel fill systems, the customer has to move from one side of the truck to fill up to the other side to fill up
Got to go around that island, go to both sides. Okay.
Absolutely. With the 1988 CK, the higher volume tank is again a single tank, but it's a longer tank to provide additional volume. It's a 34-gallon tank as opposed to the base 25-gallon tank.
Okay, and this one is mounted inside too, right?
Again, mounting it inside of the frame rail, coupled with the frame construction that we have, coupled with the rocker panel construction that we have, provides us with a much stronger overall vehicle system. In fact, it's so strong that we've taken a typical American passenger car and we've run it into the side of the truck at 50 miles an hour, and we have absolutely no fuel spillage. And we also, beyond that, rotate the truck through 360 degrees to simulate a rollover situation, and there's no fuel spillage after that condition either.
So when someone asks how tough a Chevy truck is,
we think it's the toughest truck that we've ever designed.
Well, that's great.
Okay.
Mike, thank you very much. I appreciate you coming down and telling us about this toughness in the new Chevy trucks. Let's have a nice hand for Mr. Mike Juris. Thanks a lot. Now, for a detailed review of things like the frame, body construction, and precise fuel tank capacities, consult your Chevy truck facts book. It has detailed specifications on all the 1988 C and K model pickups. Now, there have been 1,000 little improvements that make this new truck the best vehicle on the market. But you're going to be happy to hear that there was one aspect of the old truck. It was so darn good, they couldn't improve on it. And that's the engines. The same engines are in the 1988 trucks that were in the 1987 trucks. Now, those engines include the 4.3-liter V6, the 5-liter, the 5.7, and the 7.4-liter V8 gasoline engines with electronic fuel injection for improved fuel economy, increased performance, and smoother operation. Now, there's a 6.2-liter diesel engine in our 2500 and 3500 series. The transmissions have a 3-speed automatic, that's a 4-speed automatic with overdrive, and a 4-speed manual with deep low. Now, this year there are 2 new manual transmissions designed by Getrag and built by Muncie, a 4-speed manual and a 5-speed manual with overdrive. In addition to that, customers can also choose rear axle ratios that range from a 2.73 to a 4.56. Now, earlier this evening, I was given a warranty update, and I'd like to read it for you now. General Motors is going to provide warranty coverage on 1988 Chevy C and K pickups on the powertrain for 6 years or 60,000 miles, and against outer body rust-through for 6 years or 100,000 miles. Now, that kind of warranty tells your customers the confidence Chevy has in its new full-size pickups. Now, in 1988, all of the C and K series pickups with gasoline engines will feature the serpentine belt drive design. Now, you can see that the serpentine belt, it's a lot wider than the old belt, and it has grooves for positive drive of the accessories. Now, this belt is designed to last a lot longer and be more reliable than the old 2 or 3 belt systems. Tell that to your customers. Now, the serpentine belt system features an automatic belt tensioner for reduced routine maintenance. Now, for more details at a glance about the rear axle ratios, transmissions, and more, use your pocket retention piece. Now, naturally, all the information you need to spec and order power teams, you can find it in your Chevy truck fax book. Okay, so what are your customers thinking now? We've told them what's behind the styling changes. We've told them how tough the truck is, and we've shown them how it got to be that way. We've told them about the power teams. So what do you think they're thinking now?
I'll take one.
Okay, you ready to buy? Well, wait a minute, because it's going to get even better. We're going to now show you 4 new major features, so when your customers come into the showroom and they say, what's new, these are the big ones. A new rear wheel anti-lock brake system, an improved ride and handling due to a new suspension design, InstaTrack, a proven shift-on-the-fly 4-wheel drive system, and some of the best anti-corrosion measures in the industry. Now, earlier on Target Trucks, we sent our roving reporter, Glenn Beatty, out to speak with Tim Dawkins, a corrosion protection coordinator, about one of the outstanding selling points of the new full-size Chevy, and that's outstanding corrosion protection.
Well, Jordan, it's 10 degrees, plus the wind chill. Not exactly the way we planned it. Normally, at this time of year at a construction site like this one, the snow would be melting and it would be pretty muddy. But it's a good place to talk about corrosion protection. And that's just what I've been doing with Tim Dawkins here, who's been telling me about the extraordinary corrosion protection on this new Chevy truck. Tim?
Glenn, the kind of conditions we have here are the kind of conditions that trucks have to live with each and every day on the job. Salt, which causes most of our corrosion, one of the absolute worst enemies of a truck. For that reason, we've added a number of corrosion features to this vehicle that we think will greatly enhance and improve the corrosion performance.
Why don't you tell us about a few of those?
Well, I'd like to start with the outside of the vehicle and start with the paint job and kind of work our way in, if you like.
Outside in, huh?
Sure. On the exterior of this vehicle, we have a clear coat system. And this clear coat is not only durable, but in addition, it gives us a nice, deep, glossy look.
I see. It's the wet look we talked about.
Yes, when it's clean, you have a deep, wet look to the surface. Below that is the color coat that gives the truck its appearance.
I see. Now, we talked about anti-chip coating. Where's that?
Oh, step around here if you would. We've added an anti-chip urethane primer to the lower surface of the vehicle, to the fender, the door here, the rocker, and along the box there for added stone throw protection. This is important to our customers who live on stone gravel roads because they get a lot of stone throw in this area.
What's the next level?
The next level is a primer, and we use a electrodeposited Elpo primer that has 50% more film build than our conventional primers. This gives us some added corrosion protection and also fills in some of the imperfections in the metal so that we get a better looking paint finish.
And the next level?
That's our two-sided galvanized steel. We use two-sided galvanized steel so we get protection on the exterior of the vehicle and also protection on the interior of the vehicle.
And then we go to the frame.
The frame is hot melt wax dip, and this gives us both appearance and longer life.
I see. Now, I know that you're really fond of this engine compartment on this truck. Why don't we take a look at it? I'll pop the hood.
Certainly.
Boy, you got a lot of room in there.
We certainly do, and it looks good too. Virtually every component in the engine compartment has been protected for corrosion purposes. The engine brackets, braces, pulleys have all received LPO protection that not only looks good, but offers years and years of corrosion-free performance.
Well, it looks to me like you've got a world-class engine compartment here, Tim.
We certainly think we do.
Well, let me see if I can sum it up here. We had base coat, clear coat, anti-chip coating, galvanized steel, LPO primer, and the hot wax dip for the frame. Does that just about do it?
Sure does, except for one other point I'd like to mention about the box.
Okay.
Our box is one-piece construction as opposed to three that some of our competitors do. This means that we have less edges to seal and less places for corrosion to start.
Oh, I see. So one piece, less chance of corrosion, three-piece, much more chance of corrosion.
Absolutely right.
Well, those kinds of things are the things that our customers want to hear about. Thanks a lot for stopping by.
You're certainly welcome.
Back to you, Jordan. I hope it's a lot warmer in the studio.
Yeah, it is a lot warmer here, Glenn. Thank you very much for that report. Now, all 1988 C&K model pickups have a new rear-wheel anti-lock brake system. Now, anti-lock brakes were first developed for use in military and commercial airplanes. And now that same technology has come to our new full-size pickups.
A pickup truck's payload can vary greatly, so its brake system has to contend with a wide range of loads. This special demonstration dramatizes how a traditional pickup brakes under extraordinary driving conditions. The left wheels of the vehicle are on an artificial surface that provides practically no stopping traction. The right wheels, dry pavement. Chevrolet's new full-size pickup features a rear-wheel anti-lock brake system that monitors the rear wheels for impending wheel lockup. When the system senses that the rear wheels are about to lock, it rapidly adjusts the flow of brake fluid to the brakes and keeps the rear wheels rolling. The result is safe stops under almost any condition.
So you tell your customers that the 1988 C and K series pickups feature a new rear-wheel anti-lock brake system that's designed to give them controlled stops under almost any driving or load condition. The big news this year is about the improved ride and handling, which is a result of the new suspension designs on the two-wheel and the four-wheel drive models. Now, I wish there was a way that we could demonstrate the smooth ride and the precise handling of the new truck right here in the studio. Unfortunately, we can't do that. What we did do, though, is we got some industry experts to take test drives and give us their opinions. Now, here's what some of the most respected names in the automotive press had to say. Four-Wheeler Magazine's Bruce Smith had this to say about our improved four-wheel independent front suspension. You've improved ride and handling considerably without sacrificing any of the off-road abilities. Now, Road and Track's Ron Sessions, he agreed. The suspension just flat works. The ride seems very well controlled in an off-road situation. Trailer Life's Rich Johnson, he said this after taking a test run with a 6,000-pound test trailer being towed by a two-wheel drive Chevy. I'm real impressed with the way it handles. For towing a 6,000-pound trailer, I thought it was marvelous. Four-wheel and off-road's Mike Magda, he enjoyed the ride. I was most impressed with the tracking of the vehicle. The feet stayed on the ground all the time. And Jack Keebler of Popular Science, he summed it all up. Overall, the truck stepped in and out of some really treacherous stuff very easily. And yet, when we got back up onto the highway, it truly was a passenger car-like ride. That was very impressive. Overall, it's dynamite. And now to tell us more about these improvements on the new truck, help me welcome to Target Trucks, Mr. Cass Krajewski. Hi, Cass.
How do you do?
Welcome to Target Trucks.
Thank you.
Now tell me, what did you guys do to the new truck to get these rave reviews?
Well, I'd like to show you.
Okay, great.
For the two-wheel drive C-Truck, we have designed and tuned a new front suspension that gives it outstanding ride and handling. And we've developed a totally new suspension for the four-wheel drive. This is it right here. The wheels are attached to the frame with a stamped lower control arm and this formed steel rod upper control arm. Road shocks and bumps are absorbed by this combination of this torsion bar and this shock absorber.
Now the torsion bar, that works like a heavy-duty spring.
That's right. It's a spring. It's anchored in this frame cross member back here, and it runs forward to this lower control arm.
Okay.
When the wheel hits a bump, the torsion bar twists and absorbs much of the energy from the bump, allowing the wheel to move up and down. Now again, this is an independent design. That allows both front wheels to react independently of each other, so that when you're off-road and the wheels are on uneven ground, both front tire surfaces will remain in full contact with the ground.
Okay.
That's what gives you the improved traction over the old solid axle design.
Okay.
You also get a much better ride off-road than we could have ever given you with the old design.
All right. Now, a point here I'd like to make, Cass, about our four-wheel drive owners is that they do the majority of their driving on-road.
Well, that's the beauty of the system here. The new 4x4 design gives you the ride and handling on paved roads that you only used to be able to get with a two-wheel drive truck.
Okay. Now, what about our rear suspension?
The rear suspensions are all new also. We've kept the traditional leaf spring design for both the two- and four-wheel drive models.
That's here.
This is a two-stage, spring, so that it gives you a smooth ride no matter what the load. But we have done several things to improve the life of this rear suspension spring.
Okay.
I can show you over here on this
Got a
model.
little demonstration. All right, great. Thank you, Velma. Mike? Okay.
Well, the first thing you'll notice is that this is a much longer spring. It's up to 25% longer than the old spring design. A longer spring distributes the load over more spring material, and that results in lower stresses.
Ah, okay. All right.
We've also designed this spring to resist corrosion. You see, a leaf spring is basically a series of plates or leaves that are clamped together to carry the axle load.
And they sit one on top of the other.
Right. In traditional designs, water would get in between these leaves and stay there when the spring got wet. To counteract that, we've used these zinc-plated steel spacers.
Oh, that's what these are.
That's right.
Okay.
These spacers, along with these Teflon impregnated tip liners, give you a nice uniform spacing between the leaves, so that when water gets in there, air can circulate and quickly dry them out.
Okay, and that prevents, I guess, rust and corrosion.
That's right.
Okay.
So you see, by making the spring longer, to lower the stresses and using these spacers, we've designed this spring to last the life of the truck.
All right, so now the salespeople can tell their customers that they're getting a more durable rear suspension and that the two-wheel drive trucks have independent front suspension for excellent handling, and the four-wheel drive trucks, the four-wheel Ks, they have independent front suspension for better ride and better traction.
That's correct.
Okay, well, Cass, thank you very much for coming down and giving us a demonstration. Let's have a nice hand for Mr. Cass Krajewski. Okay, now we've looked at the four-wheel drive suspensions, but we haven't actually looked at the four-wheel drive system yet. Now, many of you are going to be familiar with the four-wheel drive system we use on the new K trucks because you've already sold it before on the S-Truck 4x4s. It's just a larger version of the famous Instatrack, and it has some real advantages over the old manual hub locking systems. Let's take a look.
Manual locking hubs on full-size four-wheel drive systems require the driver to get out of the truck to lock the front hubs by hand. These manual locking hub systems use over 20 parts to lock the front wheels to the front axle shafts. Automatic locking hub systems are more convenient, but use many more parts to lock the hubs than manual systems. Both systems are complex, with many interlocking parts that can wear and require periodic service. With Chevy's new full-size Instatrack system, there are no hub locks. The front hubs are connected directly to the axle shafts, solid and secure, with no moving parts to lock up, wear out, or replace.
Ford doesn't offer anything like it on its full-size pickup. It's a General Motors exclusive. And now the Instatrack system is standard on the 1988 K-Series pickups. It means that your customers, they don't have to get out of the truck to lock up the hubs. Now, there are fewer moving parts to wear and replace. It means your customer can shift in and out of 4 high at any speed without ever leaving the cab. Now, the 1988 K-Series pickups, they feature an off-road chassis package that's been specially designed for the enthusiast. And that package includes a heavy-duty front stabilizing bar, transfer case shield, and high-pressure gas shock absorbers. Now, we've given you the answers to many of the important questions that your customers are going to come in and ask you. But this cell overlay, this is an excellent selling tool to help you answer those questions. If anybody's going to improve on a truck, it's going to be Chevy. And by paying attention to 1,000 details, we have made our new truck the best vehicle on the market. Now, you've seen that the 1988 C and K series pickups, they're not mid-size, they're full-size. They have full-size payload and cargo bed dimensions, a full-size cab, full-size engine power. They have a new aerodynamic shape that's been designed to cut down on fuel costs and operating costs. We have some of the best anti-corrosion measures in the industry. We've seen the new rear wheel anti-lock brake system that's designed to give you controlled stops under almost any driving condition. We've seen that the suspension systems have been improved dramatically. The rear leaf springs have been designed to last longer, and the 4x4 independent front suspension has been designed to give you better ride and better traction. We've seen the InstaTrack without hub locks. It's designed to let you shift on the fly at any speed. And we've seen that this new truck is built for toughness with a front box section ladder type frame for extra strength. Now, earlier somebody asked me if we were going to have the same models. They're going to be available. I didn't forget about you, because now we come to a very important part of the Chevy full-size story, the model lineup. We've got regular cabs and long beds and short beds. We have a new extended cab for seating up to 6 people. And of course, we've got Big Dually. You and your customers can still count on Chevy to give you a pickup for every need. Now, let me leave you now with a look at the full line of the 1988 full-size Chevys. Thank you very much.
The 1988 Chevy full-size pickups. The 1500 series, hard-working half-tons with payloads up to 1,922 pounds, trailer towing up to 6,500 pounds. Hard-working. Here's a half-ton with an extended cab. It can seat up to 6 or carry cargo too valuable to leave loose in the bed. Hard-working Chevy trucks. The 2500 series, 3/4-ton trucks for bigger payloads, up to 3,276 pounds, and heavier trailers up to 7,000 pounds. And all Chevy full-size are available as 2-wheel drive C models or 4-wheel drive K trucks with InstaTrack, like this one. Hard working. The 3500 series. These mighty 1-tons carry the heaviest payloads, up to 5,390 pounds in the Big Dually dual rear wheel model. And they tow the biggest trailers, up to 13,500 pounds. Those hard-working Chevy trucks. The 1988 Chevy full-size pickups in 3 series. Regular or extended cabs. Short beds or long. 2- or 4-wheel drive. They work hard.